I don't think we've talked to you since Saturday. Your thoughts on the scrimmage and the practices since then?
Well, Saturday I thought was, we got a lot accomplished. A lot of guys made plays. It seems like 6 weeks ago that Saturday happened. So if my memory fails me on exactly what happened, there's been a lot of film since then. But we had good tempo as the scrimmage progressed. Early on, we didn't have real good tempo, and that's because we're a little slower out here right now than what we normally will be. But trying to get through two-a-days and trying to make sure that the defense is able to accomplish what they need to accomplish. So Saturday it took a while for us to get our tempo the way that we want it. But overall, we played hard and we had some good playmakers that made plays, and so I was fairly pleased with what happened.
Starting to see any trends develop over the first 10 or so days of practice as far as the quarterbacks go? One guy making a move here or there?
I'll tell you what's fun. This has been the most fun part for me about watching the quarterbacks. It's like a great heavyweight championship fight. And one guy lands what you think is a knockout blow, and the other guy falls against the ropes, and 5 seconds later he comes back and he lands a blow that you think is going to knock the other one out. And it happens every day to where one guy will make an incredible throw that just blows your mind, and the next, and then the other one will walk in and he'll trump it. And that's phenomenal because it shows that they're both competitors, that neither one of them wither from the competition. They step up to it, and I think that, again, like I've said many times, the longer this thing progresses, the more that it becomes such a wonderful problem because they've both risen to the occasion, they've both gotten better, and I'm very tickled with how they both played.
You still think about a week before the game is the time when you're going to name the starter?
I don't have a clue. I don't have a clue.
If you did decide to split it up, would you even name a starter, or would you
I don't, it's something Coach Tuberville and I'll sit down and talk about and see what we feel like is best, for the team. And like I told you, I guess the last time that we talked, is that it's something that, right now I'd have a very difficult time doing that just because they're both really good. They're both making plays. They're both getting better at their weaknesses. Cody's gotten a lot better throwing. Chris has got a lot better running. So it's really, like I said, it's one of those things that the harder it gets, the tougher the competition gets, then the better they both get. So it's been really a blessing for both of them. They both become better.
The wide receivers in general have been criticized some here the last 2 or 3 years. Just evaluate what you see from that position as a whole.
I see talent that's good enough to win in this league, and I see it our job to make them better. That's what we're hired to do, and I'm very pleased with it. They've stepped up. They've gotten better. They're a lot better now than they were at the end of the spring. Greg and Steve have both done an incredible job with coaching those guys and getting them better. And, the details they pay attention to. They're good enough to win in this league. So, it's our job to just make sure we do a good job coaching.
Are one or two receivers in particular standing out so far through practice?
There's really several that stand out. The biggest, probably most pleasant thing that's happened so far has been Chris Slaughter. Is that, he's a guy that, you can tell his talent, but the work ethic and the day in and day out grind of doing the right things and making plays and all that, I never saw it. And from the day that we started, the first practice that we had, he was like a different person. And I keep waiting for it to fall off, and it hasn't. So that's been probably the most pleasant surprise. Gabe McKenzie's been another, pleasant surprise. And Gabe has caught, he's had very few drops, if any, in competition. And that's very pleasant. His routes are still not as crisp as they need to be, but he has stepped up and shown more promise.
Coach, how many freshmen do you think you'll end up using true freshmen on offense this year?
Well, the running back probably, Eric.
Right.
Probably play. Phillip will probably play. Derek is a question mark. Not really 100% sure yet whether he will or not. Darvin will probably play. So those guys are definitely going to play.
And could you talk about what it means to have Jason Bosley back just for the offensive line, the offense?
It means we got a snap, We had a day where he and Pugh both were out, and it was a challenge. You saw Tyrone getting his first time ever at center. But it's a lot for leadership, and it helps, getting Pugh back, getting reps at tackle too. But it's big. Your center on this team, it plays a huge role. So it's good to have him back.
The number 3 quarterback job, anything Barrett or Neal separating himself from the other?
Not really. I mean, they're both good enough. It's just a matter of probably just making a decision one day as to which one that we're going to use. Good.